The Lakers and Warriors are making adjustments for tonight's game 2. A writer claims LAFC might be the greatest club in American soccer history, only he doesn't know his history. And UCLA has major question marks along the offensive line. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's May 4th, 2023. I am in a great mood because it is miserable up here in Portland, and in a few hours I am not going to be in this miserable town. I'm going home to the wife, looking forward to it. But in the meantime, if you want to be in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we're dropping new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means, comment. Why not? Try to answer every one of you guys. Before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard yesterday. Max Muncy, chef's kiss, walk-off grand slam, and the Dodgers defeated the Phillies 10-6. Back-to-back sweeps for your first place LA Dodgers, who are on a 6-game winning streak. Meanwhile today, game 2 of a best-of-7 series, Lakers at Golden State at 6 o'clock. The LA Lakers have a 1-0 lead in the series. Let's talk about that. Let's talk a lot about the Lakers, frankly. It is easy to look at Draymond Green of the Warriors and think he's crazy, because when he's on the court, he acts crazy, right? But away from the court, the man can be quite thoughtful. The Golden State Warriors tough guy has noted that the Lakers offense has changed. It is not always running through LeBron James. It didn't in game 1. For that matter, it didn't against Memphis. Austin Reeves would run the offense. D'Angelo Russell would run the offense. And so this is posing a problem for the Warriors, who for years, not only just the Warriors, but across the entire NBA, everybody looked at LeBron as the facilitator, as a glorified point forward, if you will. Quote, LeBron is playing a totally different style than we've ever seen him play before. It's interesting to figure out. You're just not used to seeing LeBron off the ball so much, which is a bit weird, unquote. So for the Warriors, defensively, they need to figure out how to stop that. Because when LeBron is off the ball and you have to worry about Austin Reeves or Anthony Davis, it's actually creating spots for LeBron to do some damage. Meanwhile, we mentioned Draymond Green a moment ago, but did you notice in game 1 that the Lakers defense completely sagged off of Green and Kevin Looney? Just left them completely wide open. Now, originally, I thought the Lakers were literally daring them to shoot, but that is not necessarily the case. According to The Athletic, you have LeBron James guarding Draymond Green. You have Anthony Davis guarding Looney, but not really. They are sagging off because while Steph Curry is off the ball, running back and forth around the perimeter, trying to find a way to create a pick play, that means that James and Davis, who are off those 2 other players, one of them is literally going to be about 8 feet away to help on defense. So in other words, they're not triple teaming Curry. They are trying to possibly help Jared Vanderbilt. They're trying to help Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder. That worked like a charm for 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter, Curry, instead of playing off the ball, started to bring the ball up the court. And also, by the way, Golden State went small with the lineup. So you had Curry bringing the ball up the court, calling somebody to run a screen. He would run around the pick and roll as quickly as possible and try to get an open shot. So that was a change of pace. And by the way, Coach Steve Kerr does not like doing that. He would prefer to continue to space the court, positionless basketball. You've all heard about how the Warriors play. But do the Warriors now have to change and do something a little more traditional to get their sharpshooter on the board for 4 quarters instead of midway through the 4th? It's a gamble. It is a gamble, because if the Warriors go super small, they're not going to get any rebounds. In addition to that, Anthony Davis will feast in the low post. And if anybody tries to defend him because they're so small, they're just going to be swatting away at Anthony Davis, which means they're going to be fouling him, and the Lakers keep going to the line over and over and over again. And by the way, side note, if you're a Golden State fan complaining about the lack of calls, know this: the Warriors jacked up 53 three-point attempts in Game 1. You're not getting a lot of calls when you shoot that many out on the perimeter. One player that isn't going to be playing for the Lakers tonight is Mo Bamba. You have to think really hard to remember that the Lakers actually traded for the guy when they were rebuilding their roster on the fly at the trade deadline. Bamba has been dealing with a chronic ankle issue. Maybe he plays later in the series, maybe not. Like I said, do you even remember he's on the team? I mentioned Dennis Schroeder a few minutes ago. You know, when Schroeder returned to the Lakers this year, he said he felt like he had to make it up to the team, to the franchise, for how he underperformed the first time that he was a Laker. And he has been remarkable in the playoffs, or at least in certain games. He had 19 points in Game 1 versus Golden State while guarding Steph Curry. He also scored 21 points in the play-in game against Minnesota. Now, he didn't do that well against Memphis, I will grant you that, but that was because he was dealing with an issue in his Achilles tendon. Is he doing enough, I ask you? Is Dennis Schroeder doing enough to bring him back for next year? Maybe not for this monster deal that he thought he deserved a few years ago, but like a mid-level exception. Would you consider that? GM Rob Pelinka transformed the Lakers 2/3 of the way through the season for when the team was the 13th ranked team in the Western Conference. We all knew that. And he transformed them into a team that has a legitimate shot to go into the conference finals. What does he get for that? What's his reward for that hard work? He finished 11th in the NBA Executive of the Year voting. 11th. For that rapid turnaround, for that light switch that went from off to on, and the Lakers started winning. Nope, you are the 11th best executive in the NBA. Now, you might think that's a media vote. Most votes are. But no, this is actually a vote among other executives. And that suggests that the other executives are just pissed because Pelinka basically robbed the bank of about 4 or 5 teams a few months ago. Anyone who watches this show regularly knows I'm a big fan of The Athletic. They are usually extremely clever, but I have to call out a soccer writer named Elias Burke, who wrote this story claiming, quote, LAFC has a convincing case to be the best team U.S. soccer has ever seen. Look, I think that even haters should begrudgingly admit that LAFC is a very well-run franchise, right? The black and gold, they haven't lost a game this year. They are the defending MLS Cup champions. They could win CONCACAF Champions League next month. Matter of fact, we already know who their opponent is. It's going to be León. They're going to have a 2-leg championship series. The first game is going to be in Mexico at the end of May 31st, right? So let's be real. There's a lot of things about LAFC that's impressive. Philadelphia Union manager Jim Curtin said that it could be argued that the current roster might be the greatest team in league history. But American history? I think the writer forgot something. Did anybody ever hear of Pele? Anyone? Anyone ever hear of Franz Beckenbauer? Not Pele, not Beckenbauer. Has anybody heard of the New York Cosmos? Because as my recollection is, that was the most star-studded team in American soccer history. And I know they're the New York Cosmos. I say that as a Galaxy fan. So maybe LAFC is the best team in MLS history. Maybe. I think the jury's still out on that. There's going to be fans from the old days of DC United that have a bone to pick with that assertion. There's going to be people from the Houston Dynamo who are going to have a problem with that, certainly with the LA Galaxy. But again, what are we talking about if you're going to forget Pele? Pele's death caused the world to pause. That's how much of an impact the man had on the beautiful game. They've sold out football stadiums from sea to shining sea. That's how relevant the New York Cosmos were. When Pele retired and Beckenbauer retired, then the NASL had a lot of problems and eventually folded. But let's not confuse. I'm not trying to clown Carlos Vela, but let's not confuse him with Pele. When was the last time anybody in MLS executed a bicycle kick that worked? Now, I will have to also mention one other thing about the writer. He spent a lot of time in this story talking about how great LAFC is because of their fan support. They're not the most popular team in MLS. Their stadium is not that big. They don't sell that many tickets. The Galaxy, even last year, and they were lousy compared to LAFC, sold more tickets. I do not buy the argument that fan support means your franchise is automatically great. The Dodgers aren't great because of fan support. They are great because of the titles. They're great because of Jackie Robinson, Tommy Lasorda, Fernando Valenzuela, all kinds of legendary players. The Lakers have achieved greatness not because they sell out Staples Center or Crypto.com Arena. The Lakers became great first. Kobe, Magic, Kareem, Shaq, Chamberlain. We could go on and on. LAFC's current team, again, may very well be the best current team in American soccer, may be the best. It may wind up being the best in MLS history, but that's not due to the 3-2-5-2. And there's nothing in American soccer history that tops the New York Cosmos. Don't get it twisted, player. The writer simply doesn't know what he's talking about. We've discussed UCLA's offensive skill positions, about how they're pretty much settled. But what about offensive line? Right tackle Garrett DiGregorio and center Duke Clemens are the only returning starters. There was a transfer that was brought in from the transfer portal yesterday, Jake Wiley from Colorado. Now, he could play guard or tackle, but the questions still remain. That leaves at least 2 open spaces. We do know that Bruno Fina has been getting snaps at left tackle. This is according to the Los Angeles Daily News. But what about either guard, right or left? Remember, the Bruins liked to run last year up the middle because they were returning a center and 2 guards. And those 3 road graders just basically opened up pathways one after another for Zach Charbonnet. So who's going to play guard? Wiley? Josh Carlin? Somebody else? We have no idea. Also with the Bruins, linebacker Adam Cohen has entered the transfer portal. He posted that to a social media account. He only played 8 games in 3 years. So frankly, it's not that huge of a deal for UCLA. Gavin Stone didn't exactly impress in his debut for the Dodgers. The 4th-ranked prospect in the Dodgers system, he allowed 4 earned runs yesterday in 4 innings. Also allowed 8 hits with only 1 strikeout. Now, to make room for Stone, the Dodgers optioned reliever Alex Vesia to AAA Oklahoma City. Vesia hasn't been effective either. His ERA is 7.84 in 10 1/3 innings. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. We talked a lot about the Lakers. What do you think about their chances in Game 2 tonight? Is LAFC better than the New York Cosmos? Spoiler alert, they're not, but if you want to tell me otherwise, I'll listen to you. And if you enjoyed talking LA sports with me, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. Again, we talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Corte El Queso production. Take care.